Hey there, book lovers! Have you ever thought about the future of the world we live in? Today we're diving into the dark, gritty, and thought-provoking world of dystopian fiction. These books explore the collapse of society, the limits of human endurance, and how fragile our world really is when pushed to the edge. So sit back, grab a coffee, and let's talk about 10 incredible novels that will transport you to dystopian futures you definitely wouldn't want to live in, but you won't be able to look away from either. Let's start off with a really unique one. Imagine a world where women suddenly develop the ability to generate electrical power from their bodies. That's what happens in The Power by Naomi Alderman. This one shift completely flips gender dynamics. Young girls realize they can defend themselves, and suddenly governments and societal structures start falling apart. It's not just a role reversal, though. It explores the nature of power itself and how it can corrupt. It really forces you to think about gender oppression and how fragile societal structures are. A modern classic for sure. Now, if you're into dystopias that feel disturbingly real, check out Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. This novel is haunting because it feels like we're on the edge of this reality. Bioengineering, corporate greed, and environmental collapse have wrecked society. You've got the last human survivor, Snowman, reflecting on his life before everything fell apart. Through flashbacks, we learn about his friends Crake, a dangerous genius, and Oryx, a mysterious woman. It's such a powerful look at how unchecked ambition and corporate control can destroy the world. Atwood really knows how to craft a dystopia that's plausible and terrifying. How about a world where no children have been born in over 2 decades? That's The World in the Children of Men by P.D. James. The idea of humanity slowly dying out due to infertility is such a frightening concept. Societies are crumbling, and there's a real sense of despair. But then, a miracle happens. A woman becomes pregnant, and it's a race to protect her and the future of the human race. It's a deeply emotional and hopeful story that explores survival and what it means to protect a future that seems so uncertain. The themes of redemption, faith, and the collapse of civilization feel so relevant today. In Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, a flu pandemic wipes out most of the world's population. But this novel isn't just about the end of civilization. It's about what we hold on to afterward. It follows characters like a traveling Shakespeare troupe as they try to find meaning and purpose after the collapse. What makes this book so beautiful is that it's as much about art and memory as it is about survival. It makes you think, when everything falls apart, what do we cling to? What do we value? The novel's emphasis on the importance of culture and human connection, even in a broken world, is both heartbreaking and hopeful. If you want something darker, The Road by Cormac McCarthy is as bleak as it gets. A father and his young son are traveling through a desolate, ash-covered landscape, trying to survive in a world where other survivors have turned to cannibalism. The bond between the father and son is the heart of the story. It's a story about love, endurance, and how far we'll go to protect the people we care about. Even in the darkest of times, this novel shows how humanity can endure. The writing is sparse but so effective. It's devastating, but you won't be able to put it down. One dystopian novel that feels especially relevant today is Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. The world in this novel is collapsing due to climate change and inequality, and the protagonist, Lauren, has this condition where she can feel other people's pain. As she travels north, she starts developing her own belief system called Earthseed, which is all about the idea that God is change and humanity's future lies in adapting to it. It's a fascinating mix of survival and spiritual growth. This book makes you think deeply about how new philosophies and spiritual systems might emerge when society breaks down, and how we might adapt to rebuild. For a more biopunk twist, check out The Wind-Up Girl by Paolo Bacigalupi. This dystopia is set in a world where genetic engineering has caused environmental collapse. Megacorporations control the food supply, and Emiko, a genetically engineered being, is treated as less than human. It's a gripping, fast-paced story about power, survival, and identity in a world where resources are scarce and the environment is devastated. What's terrifying about this one is how close it feels to our current trajectory with technology and corporate control. It's a cautionary tale, but one that also explores the resilience of the human spirit. A quieter but deeply moving dystopia is Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. On the surface, it seems like a story about kids growing up in a boarding school, but as they get older, they discover the awful truth. They're clones, raised to donate their organs. The novel is so subtle, but the emotional impact is devastating. It raises profound questions about free will, humanity, and whether our lives are truly our own. Ishiguro's writing is restrained but packs such a punch. It's one of those books that sneaks up on you emotionally. Let's talk cyberpunk for a moment. Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson is a fast, action-packed novel set in a future America where virtual reality is as important as the real world. The main character, Hero, is both a hacker and a swordsman, trying to stop a digital virus that threatens to destroy everything. This novel is wild, funny, and full of mind-bending ideas about technology, corporate power, and the future of human interaction. It feels ahead of its time, and a lot of its themes are becoming more relevant as our relationship with technology evolves. Finally, The Giver by Lois Lowry might seem like a simple story, but it's incredibly powerful. Jonas lives in a society where everything seems perfect. There's no pain, no war, but there's also no choice. When he's chosen to be the receiver of memory, he learns about the dark secrets behind this so-called utopia. It's a coming-of-age story about discovering the truth, individuality, and the importance of emotions and freedom. It asks tough questions about whether peace is worth sacrificing our autonomy and humanity for. So, there you have it. 10 dystopian worlds that will make you think, question, and maybe appreciate the world we live in just a little bit more. Now, if I had to recommend one book to start with, it would have to be Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. It's such a rich, thought-provoking novel that combines speculative science, deep moral questions, and characters you can't stop thinking about. The way Atwood presents the dangers of corporate control and scientific ambition feels so relevant today, it's both terrifying and fascinating. Let me know in the comments which dystopian world intrigues you the most. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more bookish content. Happy reading!